another episode of my podcast. My name is Cheryl, and this is Cappuccino Crafts, my little channel on YouTube and my corner of the general interwebs, where I like to talk about knitting and crochet and books and TV and movies and other life and general chatty things that I want to share with you. So thank you very, very much for choosing to watch this video and spend a little bit of your time with me. I really hope that you enjoy it. Please settle in, get yourself a delicious beverage, and grab your yarn, your hook, your needles, your embroidery, your spinning, whatever it is, and let's enjoy a chatty time together. So, yay! It is the closing in on the end of November. Today is the 22nd or the 23rd. I don't know why lately I'm having, I don't know why that's a thing lately, where I'm like, is it this number or that number with the dates? But it is Monday, and this week coming up is American Thanksgiving on Thursday, and which I believe is the 27th. Anyway, so this coming Thursday is American Thanksgiving, and unfortunately, because of the COVID virus, will not be spending it with my sister or my parents. We will not be together, and I will just have another day here in the house. But my sister and I have talked about just spending a good chunk of the day on Zoom, probably in and out of Zoom throughout the day. I don't know, we haven't talked details, but we're probably gonna play some games. Also, I'm sure that we will eat our dinner on Zoom together, whatever I cook for me and whatever she gets for herself. I do plan on cooking a turkey breast, not a whole turkey, but a turkey breast. That will be plenty of leftovers, and I want stuffing, but I have debated about whether to actually cook that on Thursday and have it on Thursday, or maybe do it over the weekend when I'm not wanting to be on Zoom and chatting and playing games. I think I might rather have a more relaxed, chatty game playing day on Thursday and maybe save the cooking for the weekend. That's my idea. So, yeah, this whole holiday season is gonna be so different for everyone with the winter holidays coming up around the world. I hope that we're all able to find ways to celebrate that are safe, and find ways to cheer ourselves up, and bring a little bit of that hope and holiday love and cheer. Crafting has been progressing. Let me show you. I am very close to the end of the left side of this Japanese garden shawl. I have 3 color stripes left to do. One of this. That's what I'm getting ready to start next. I finished this color. I'm getting ready. I've already cut the yarn. Getting ready to do this, and then another little stripe of this, and then back to this for just a little peek at the end. Such a small little bit, but yeah, so this is almost done, and I have continued to keep weaving in ends as I go, so really that is working out, is a great strategy for me. How do you deal with ends, or is that a problem with you? I mean, some people don't really struggle with the ends and are fine with it. But if you do kind of really dislike weaving in the ends, and what is your strategy for how you deal with it to help get yourself to finish that up? Yeah, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I'd also love to hear what crafting you might be doing right now and how your projects are going. I'd love to chat about that in the comments. And here is my other project. The heels are done. Short row heel with a mini flap and gusset right here at the top, just to give a little extra room, because I need that extra room. I have a tall instep, so I need room to fit my heel. Here is the other one. See, here they are both. There are two. And I'm really liking these socks. Yeah. Well, on the way. So, yeah, those are going to be finishing up, and I still have not cast on any brand new projects to work on when those are done. I took a little time before I started recording to think about, well, can I maybe pick some yarn and then see what yarn I want to work on next? I don't know. I'm feeling a little stuck choosing what I want. What I want to work on. Do you ever get stuck deciding on a project or deciding on a book? Once you finished a book, what do you want to read next? When I opened up my container, a couple of yarns caught my eye, and I thought, well, maybe I can choose one of these. I have this lovely sock yarn that I won a couple of years ago as a drawing prize for participating in a knit-along for a podcast. So I won this in a participation drawing a couple of years ago, and it's lovely. It is by Mad Fuzzy Yarn, and it is, I've never done socks with 100% wool, but this has no nylon or no synthetic anything, or any silk or any bamboo or any other thing to add a little extra strength for durability. And it is not superwash either. So I've never made socks with this kind of sock yarn. It is beautiful, and I'm excited to experiment and see how they wear, and whether that is a kind of sock yarn that can work well and wear well for me. Now with my superwash nylon handmade socks, which is like pretty much 100% of the socks that I've made, I do put them in the washing machine in a gentle cycle to wash. I maybe once or twice I've put a pair in the dryer, but generally like 95% of the time I would not. I like to let them hang and air dry, but because they're superwash with nylon, I am okay with washing them in a washing machine on the gentle cycle, and that has not been a problem. I have not had any mishaps so far. But these could not go in the washing machine even on gentle cycle. These definitely will be a pair that can only be washed by hand. So I might wear them less too, which might make them longer lasting because they don't get worn as hard. We'll see. But this is one option that caught my eye very much. The other option that caught my eye in the container was this yarn. It is Patton's Classic Wool. This is available at a lot of big box stores. I got it at Joann's. It is a classic, easily available commercial wool yarn that I have used for quite a few projects before, and I really like the Patton's Classic Wool line, and they have some lovely colors. This is a beautiful color called Plum Heather. And I have enough balls of this to either make a nice cozy sweater or a lap blanket. So this could be a lap blanket or a sweater in this really lovely, very warm, worsted, 100% wool yarn. And it is not superwash. Patton's Classic Wool is not superwash. So this blanket or this sweater would not be able to be in the washing machine. But I don't really put my hand knit sweaters in the washing machine. I hand wash them. So that's how we are with that. So those are two options. And I thought maybe if you guys felt like voting, that might be fun. It's something we've never done on this podcast. And well, frankly, the viewership is very, very tiny. That's okay. I'm not mad. But I'm wondering how many votes I would even get. But even if it's 2 votes or 3 votes, if anybody is interested in voting on a yarn, if you want to see the classic wool in the Plum Heather, or if you want to see a pair of 100% non-superwash wool socks in this Ancient Jewels colorway, if you feel like voting, go ahead. It'd be fun. Let's try it. See what happens. Trying something new. It could be fun. Who knows? But if you have a preference and you would like to give your input, feel free. Feel free to vote for socks, or a sweater, or a lap blanket. Yeah. Now, that is all the crafting. And I am in the middle. I think there's 4 or 5 days left in the Tome Topple Round 13. And I have been reading to qualify as a tome, a book needs to be more than 500 pages. That's the rule for the Tome Topple. And I have been reading to The Diviners by Libba Bray and The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley. They are both historical fiction with some other genre twists thrown in. But I feel like they do both lean very heavily on the historical fiction. And because they are big books, I struggled for the first parts of both of them. They are very, very detailed and give a lot of information. The Winter Sea is set in Scotland, and the historical time period is in the 1707, 1708, during a little known Jacobite uprising, and King James tried to come back to Scotland one more time, and so there's a lot of politics, a lot of information, and one of the characters is it is also dual timeline. There's present day timeline and the 1707 timeline. So the present day character is an author writing a historical novel about these 1707 events. And she and her father are very much into genealogy as a hobby. So, and another character, it is also a romance. There's a couple in the past timeline, and there's a couple in the present timeline. And the present day author's love interest is a historian. He is a history professor in Edinburgh. And so through his historical knowledge, it can feel a little lectury between the genealogy and the history professor. And another character in the village is also like an amateur historian. It can feel a little lectury. And yeah, so if that is something that you do not like in your historical fiction, if you like your historical fiction more as an atmosphere and you are allergic to info dumping, this is not the historical novel for you, and neither is The Diviners. The Diviners is also very, very dense with historical information and dense with a lot of POV characters, point of view characters. The Diviners by Libba Bray is set in 1920s, early 1920s, New York City. There's a lot of American 1920s history, a lot of New York 1920s history, and there's a lot of name dropping. That did start to, I'm kind of over it, but it was annoying me for a long time. She name drops so many historical people and historical events that were going on, especially in New York, but also some national big events at the time. She name drops so many. that it got a little distracting sometimes. That did kind of get to me a little bit. So, and I think what I'm realizing is that those longer books really do take a lot of patience. And I don't know if it's because I was stubborn, because I am stubborn. Oh, believe me, I can dig my heels in and be stubborn. So it was either pure stubbornness or just there was enough catching my interest that the things that were bothering me, like feeling info dumpy and lectury and name droppy, there was enough that I was liking that it was keeping my interest to continue. I did eventually get over it with both of those books, and fully just after maybe 30%. It took me 30% or maybe 40, but eventually I did just let that go and felt fully immersed. And I think a lot of the info dumping was a lot more in the early parts of the book anyway, because then once they establish a lot of that information, then they can let things go and get on with the story part, let that pick up a little bit and not have to continue info dumping the whole way. It's a trade-off, I guess. It's a trade-off. Can you handle some info dumping for the reward of being really, really fully immersed in that time? And yeah, so that's up to you whether that sounds good to you or not, or how you like your historical fiction. But also, though, I will say with The Winter Sea, that is a dual narrative with a present day story and a present day couple, and the 1707 story and that couple. And there are pros and cons of a dual narrative. Was it actually necessary to have the present day story? Did it really, really add? Or would it have been better just to tell the historical story without framing it in a present day with a present day story? That could be arguable. It may work for some and it may not for others. I do think because the past storyline has a lot of politics, a lot of tension, a bit of suspense. It's not like thriller level suspense, but there is some suspense, a lot of politics, a lot of tension. I think the author was wanting the present day storyline is much more relaxed and cozy to break the tension a little bit, to balance the politics and the tension in the other story. Some people may not need that balanced out. Some people may have preferred just to read like a political suspense historical fiction. But other people maybe they really prefer romance, and they are not about suspense or thriller. They just want the romance and they want coziness. That kind of reader definitely benefits from the cozy present day storyline to break up the tension in the past. So it's arguable. Which way do I fall? I don't mind the present day story. It doesn't bother me. I'm okay with it. I'm not upset that she did it. It's working enough for me, but I can't argue that it was needed. Because I don't know how much it's adding for me. And then again, your mileage may vary. It depends on what you're looking for and what you like. So for other readers, that cozy present day may really make the book for them, because they're not really wanting to focus on the politics and the tension. So there you go. I did also start another book, a 500-page. So I'm thinking I hope to be able to complete by the end of this round of Tome Topple 3 500+ page books. This one I am listening to as an audiobook, and it is definitely over 500 pages, but it's also a middle grade novel. So the audio version is actually only like about 10.5 hours or so. I started it and I'm a third of the way through already. And it is a historical fiction with a little bit of like fairy tale. It's kind of got a fairy tale framing device going on, and a little bit of like magic, a little touch of magic and fairy tale thrown in to the history setting. It is set during before World War II. But I think part of it will be during. So it's starting before, but it will also be partly during World War II. And I'm enjoying it. And I am enjoying it. It's got music is kind of a big part of the story too, and kind of part of the fairy tale and part of the magic. And so in the audiobook, they have included music in parts for them, so that when the music is in the text, they'll let you listen to some bits of the music that they're talking about, which makes it a really lovely listening experience. And I highly recommend this as an audiobook. The name of the book is Echo by, I'm looking at my notes. Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan. Pam Munoz Ryan is the author. And yeah, it's kind of a lovely fairy tale, historical fiction, middle grade book. And yeah, I think it's really nice. So that's reading. It's going really well. And I know I've been talking about like what is with me watching half of a movie and then stopping, because recently I have like done that. I did finish both of those movies though. I have now finished the 2020 adaptation of Emma, and the movie that it's an indie like sci-fi movie, low-key sci-fi, but kind of sci-fi climate change apocalypse family drama indie movie called Fast Color. I did go back and I finished the second half of both those movies, and I am here to report that I did enjoy both of them. I enjoyed Emma 2020 more. I thought it was a really great adaptation and very different in tone. The tone is very different from the Gwyneth Paltrow adaptation and Jeremy Northam adaptation. This 2020 Emma, I equally like for different reasons. They emphasize different aspects and they have a different tone, but they both have a good cast, and I like them equally. I really, really like the 2020 Emma. And Fast Color, I did like, but I felt maybe slightly let down by the ending. I thought the ending was a little bit too easy and sentimental. I was still like, okay, that wasn't a super strong finish. It was maybe a little sentimental, a little bit easy, but it's good enough. And I have to say, there are two cast members that I loved. I loved their performances. I loved their part in the story. And those were Lorraine Toussaint and David Strathairn. I've seen them both in other things, and I've always appreciated their performances. They are both very gifted actors, and I've never seen them in anything bad, and I've never seen them give a bad performance. So it was excellent casting for them, and I really liked them in this story, and I liked seeing them because every time they're on screen, I like seeing them. They always are so good. The family drama aspect was my favorite part of the movie. The sci-fi and the climate change apocalypse part was a little bit weaker for me. I'm looking at my notes, and I think that's everything I wanted to talk about, and I feel like it has been a little while. It'll be interesting to see how long the video file is, but so I hope that you have a good week ahead of you. I hope that all your creative projects are going well, and that you and your family, all your loved ones, are safe and well and healthy. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.